They have spam filters for that kind of stuff. Because believe me, I get about that many too. After they.
Okay, I call this meeting to order. Wednesday, August 21st. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll open it up for visitor comments. Let's have the band come up first.
Hi, my name is Waylon. I'm with the St. Helens Band Program.
I'm Sarah Vanderwerf.
I'm Lexi Schultz.
And we're here today on behalf of the band program asking for a sponsorship to support the band program. And in return, you will get a
Grab a mic.
publicity with the band at all of our events because you will be.
Can you before you start the presentation for the mic?
Yes.
And you can walk around with it.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Waylon. I'm with the St. Helens Band Program.
I'm Sarah. I'm Lexi.
And we're here today on behalf of the band program asking for a sponsorship to support the band program, and in return we will be giving a bunch of publicity through being on our t-shirts that we wear to all competitions, such as these shirts from last year that we wore to every competition. We created bulletin boards with all the logos of our sponsors and brought them along with our competitions to show off to people at all of our events like STP and any band page show we went to or any event that the band was at, we brought with to support. This year we have decided to do two different things that you can combine to sponsor the program at once. And the first way is the normal t-shirt, and you are on the back of our t-shirts and you are displayed everywhere. And then the second way is at the Columbia River Winter Arts Invitational, which is in February. This is a competition of the Winter Garden Winter Percussion that usually has around 40 to 50 units of schools of all over Washington and Oregon coming to see the event. This is the fourth time we're hosting it and has been successful for the last 3 years. So inside we have different levels of sponsorship, starting from the diamond level, which is $1,000. That comes with a company logo with phone numbers and membership t-shirt on the back, which is what all sponsors get with one free t-shirt. You get an ad in the band program at the Columbia River Winter Arts Invitational packets that we sell to everyone as they come in. Social media announcements, announcements at football games and concerts, trophy sponsors, and reserved seats at events with bumper stickers or logo stickers on the side of our band trailers that go with us as we travel to and from events. From there, we go down to a platinum level, which is $750, having fairly similar things with 6 reserved seats and a smaller sticker on it and a smaller program page in the ad. Going down to a gold level, which is $500, our silver level, which is on the back, that is $350, our bronze level, that is $275, and our normal t-shirt fee, which just comes with a sponsorship on the t-shirt and a business card ad in the Columbia River Winter Arts Invitational, or the community partner level, which is just a trophy sponsor at the Columbia River Winter Arts. We are asking for any money you are willing to pledge for us and any of these levels of membership sponsors, and yeah. Do you have any
Questions? Do you have questions?
Yeah.
Entertain questions? You could certainly win this councilman over if you reciprocate and possibly take a look at our tree lighting ceremony, where we could use a band,
and possibly at some ceremonies like Veterans Day, where we could use a band. Sounds like, could really be a very good reciprocal kind of thing, and win me over big time.
We have a lot of festivals and stuff going on around that time of the year, but our schedule really will go up to Noelle Freshner, whose contact is on the front of this packet. So when you get close to those times, if you were to contact her, she would be able to give you a more informed
Yes.
schedule on being able to have the band at those
I
events.
had a question because do you know offhand who your $1,000 level sponsors were last year? Oh, what was the highest level last year?
We did 500 last year.
Right, that's how much we sponsored last year, so I was curious. We did 500 because whatever the sponsorship was, or maybe it was 2 times 350, because you said whatever the amount was, you get one logo for that, and we asked for one city logo and one Halloween logo.
Yep.
Oh, it was
170,
only 175 each.
Yeah.
Wow. What
which
a deal.
is the T-shirt level logo on this.
What a deal. What a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to see of this year, last year piece.
Another technical question. Are you printing your own T-shirts in the school, or you?
I believe we go through custom ink or another T-shirt.
Oh, okay. I just wonder. I noticed that the robotics group had printed their own T-shirts, so your art department. I just wondered if you were doing it yourself.
I know that Youth Council tried to use the school T-shirt printing, and it wasn't as easy as it sounded. It was a little more complicated.
Yeah.
What sounds like a good, definitely support school arts and definitely support the band. They do a lot of good work, and I know you guys are busy all year round, and you have to raise an insane amount of money.
Yeah. We actually all just came from second week of band camp, which is 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. rehearsals. We got out early. We've been doing them for the last 2 weeks now. We've just finished our opening to our marching season this year.
Wow.
For
And
you.
then you have Tuesday. Isn't that, no, you had Takeout Tuesday yesterday.
Take Up Tuesday, yeah.
Takeout Tuesday was pretty cool. Sorry, I followed the band. I'm a band groupie. The arts is an important program. The sports are important because not all kids are academic. Some kids got to find other things to find their own space. So I just, out of curiosity, what do each one of you do with the band?
Well, for marching season, I am one of the color guard captains on the team, so I'll be spinning the flags or equipment during the season.
Awesome.
I'm a trumpet.
How long have you played the trumpet?
Played since 6th grade, and I'm a sophomore now, so.
Awesome.
I play flute, and I'm the flute section leader
And how long have you done the flute?
since 7th grade, and I'm a junior now.
Wonderful.
How many kids are in the band, do you know?
Um,
Total band, color guard, all the music program, that whole
the
unit.
entire program, I would say we have around 150, I would say. Yeah,
But it's a big group of kids.
big program. We have a pretty giant marching season this year, though. Marching-wise, this is one of the larger seasons we've had of marchers.
Great.
Super. Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to sponsor them at the $500 level.
Second.
Okay.
Discussion?
Yeah, discussion?
Being a band member myself when I was your age, I think we marched in the Seattle Sea Fair. We did the University of Oregon guest band when they played a game in Civic Stadium, which is now the soccer stadium. And it was well funded through community efforts. This discussion that I'm trying to say is I hope the motion fails because I'd like to make a motion for $1,000.
That's what I was going to suggest. But if we did 2 last year for
That's what we did
Definitely wanted
last
2
year.
logos,
Because we
right?
wanted Halloween and the city logo.
I see.
And so that was kind of what I was thinking is if we could do 2 times 500, I'll amend the motion to do one for the Halloween Town logo and one for the city logo.
Okay.
I just,
I think just judging from other things that we've sponsored, judging from how far and wide this band trailer goes and how many families band touches and how hard these kids work and their parents work, I think that it's a pretty small sponsorship for a whole year. I see you guys out there collecting cans, washing cars, selling stuff. Your little snack bar. I don't know if you knew this at the STP, their personal group for the STP group, the bicycle riders actually went, they were like, we were in awe of the food in St. Helens. It was the best rest stop of the whole trip. They said they were like, it got them right through the end and they didn't forgot they had another 30 miles to ride.
So I forget, Doug may know this. I know when my daughter was in band, I think they said that band members have a grade point average like 1 point higher than the average.
Well, it depends on the program and the leadership of that program, how they push that. And I know that there are high school advisors, coaches that actually encourage their kids to get to all classes, all those kinds of things. And I would imagine that if you were going to do a weekend activity, that you'd probably have to your band teacher or your advisor would monitor your attendance. And I know that those kinds of issues are important for athletics, and I hope they are for yourself. Any extracurricular kind of activity that is successful, they do have good grades.
Well, I
They
tell you,
are
Noelle
involved.
runs a tight ship.
Yes.
I know that. She actually, my daughter and her were in the same class. So.
And the one thing about Noelle, we are very.
We need you on the mic. We need you on the mic. Yes.
The one thing that I'm not sure if very many people know about St. Helens High School band director is she was the number one director out of the state of Oregon this last year, one of 50 for the nation. Mm-hmm. So we're very lucky to have her in St. Helens.
Name for the record? Name?
I am Christina Saul, and I'm the public relations officer.
Okay, so where?
I'll second the amendment.
So the amendment is a $500, but one for Halloween Town logo and one for City of St. Helens. So totaling 1,000.
Yes.
You okay with him seconding that amendment? Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to donate or do the $500 sponsor, one for the City of St. Helens and one for the Spirit of Halloween Town. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it was Mr. Brumbaugh back when I was, if anybody remembers Mr. Brumbaugh.
It was
His
T-Bird
name-
Tom.
His name is out here on a plaque. Huh?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
That's who it was when I was there. Okay.
Started out in cornet, ended up in tuba. Love it.
All right, we're gonna other visitor comments. Just so you know, we were going to discuss this earlier, and I moved it to this evening. The parks fee schedule.
Appreciate that. My name is Jeff Kroll with St. Helens Girls Softball.
And Andrea Hunt.
So I brought a couple things for you guys to look at. I'm just going to have you pass them around real quick. On that front page is a list. These are just the hours that I logged myself. I didn't keep track of other people's hours, and I know some other people did some substantial work on softball fields this year.
Oh, I guess so. One thing.
Yeah, and then it goes into some pictures. I misspoke at the Parks Commission meeting. I said 145 and a half hours. It was actually 165 and a half hours that I logged. I did more than that, but so real quick for those who weren't at the Parks Commission meeting, the Parks Commission they recommended not renewing our lease down at the Boise Fields, which, hurts. We've had those for a long time. But it's not the end of the world as long as our girls have a place to play and it's safe. And talking about the fee structure of parks going up, we discussed that quite a bit. And then, it was brought up that 501c3s, nonprofits, could petition essentially to have their fees waived. One of the things that I asked, I'm not trying to be greedy. We're here for the kids of this community, and everything we do is 100% volunteer. We have to raise a lot of money, just like the band program. And so we work hard. The volunteers work hard to do that. We try to keep our fees as low as possible so every kid has an opportunity to play. If the fees get up too high, then it's going to exclude some kids from playing. And so I'm not necessarily asking to waive our fees entirely. What I am asking for is, I discussed it with a couple other board members. We don't have a problem, continuing the same, fee structure, whatever the fee structure is for Campbell, but waiving the fees for Boise. We have taken care of that 100% exclusively. If you go through some of these pictures here, even before our time started on the page 1 pictures, this was the field after I went out and spent 16 hours on it, getting it ready for the high school to play. So I don't just do fields for our league. I help the high school out. It helps everybody in the community. It makes these fields playable. It makes them safe. You go to the next page, which was page 2, and you'll see the one that's the field's all tore up, all the footprints. This happened when the fields went from looking like page 1 to this after it had rained one Friday. The very next day, there was a Little League team out there practicing because, hey, the fields looked really nice. They were wet, but they looked real nice when they started. And they tore them up. You can see how bad they were. The puddles, if you don't rake stuff, and of course you can't rake that mud. It's got to dry first. The puddles, they'll stay there for days and days and days. Our league spent $5,000 in 2015 of our own money to have TFT Construction come in and level field 2 because it was flooded probably 50%, at least 50% of the time. We were paying for fields that we couldn't use. So we had to, go raise a bunch more money and pay to level that field just to make it playable for us. We put a lot of time, a lot of money in it. If you go to the next page, you can see these pictures. They look better, obviously, on a computer, but you can see during our season, the grass out there at Campbell Park looks like a putting green. It's really, it's pretty nice. Take a lot of pride in it. Of course, I want it to look nice, but again, safety is number one. So this was, I put 27 from going from this muddy mess to opening day, which was April 15th, and then opening day was April 27th. 12 days. I put 27 hours into it just so we could get opening day and play and not have the fields all tore up. The next one shows just that, the fields, maybe the weeds and stuff aren't a big deal. You can play on weeds. I get it. I do take pride in our city parks as well. I want it to look nice. If I'm going to work on it, I don't want it looking like garbage because I don't do garbage. So you can see, before and after, and that's, just a lot of time. And the rest of the pictures. The one with the grass and the weeds and stuff that was all burned, that was after spraying all the weeds down at Boise on the 10U field. That grass, you can see how far in it came. Or it wasn't really grass, it was mainly weeds. And then I had some help burning the weeds. And then, after that, you can see the last the last page, second to last page, was after I drug that field, and so you can see the difference. Very last page was yesterday. We have this problem down at the Boise Fields. These are made by the squirrels down there. I've talked to Thad about it. He knows how bad it is. I don't know. We've tried the little smoke bomb things. We've tried, the little poison pellet things. They're tearing that place up. And so these holes are actually big enough that a kid's foot probably fit down in there. And that's every few days we have to go get dirt and fill those in. It's getting really bad. I don't know if the city or I don't know if Vector Control does anything with squirrels. But they're just all over. I don't know if you can. I know in Oregon you're not really supposed to trap them and relocate them. You trap them, you're supposed to dispatch them. But anyway, I just wanted you guys to see. We take really good care of the fields, and we put a lot of time and a lot of money and effort into this. 100% for the kids. We during our exclusive use permits, we don't, if we have games practices, that's great. We use the fields, and when it's not our time, or if we don't have anything going on, we've never kicked anybody off the field. It's not a matter of, well, the public can't use it if whatever. And so we understand that we're paying for the right to be able to have a structured practice or a structured game schedule. Which we have to have, or we don't have a league, because we can't have a team go down to a field for practice and, the field's being used by whoever, and okay, well, I guess we're not practicing today. So, and as Ginny said, sports are important. It's an important part of the, youth growing up, kids staying active and healthy and staying out of trouble, and that's kind of why we're here. We have grown our league from where it was in the past. It was just total wreck and kind of, we couldn't keep coaches around. It was pretty tough. To last year, my team won state. This year, moved up an age group. We took second in state. We took fifth in nationals. We have other teams. We had another team that took second in state at 12U. We had a Columbia County All-Star 12U team that we put together. Our league put it together, but it was made up of girls from the entire county. They went down, took fourth in nationals, which was amazing. We have a lot of talent out here. We are a feeder program to the high school. And again, growing up here, living here all my life, a lot of years, I have a lot of pride in our community and our school. I want to see our school athletics get back to where it was. And so, again, what we're asking for is for the council to consider, in return for all the work, and if you guys want to come up with a certain number a minimum number of hours that, our volunteers have to put in on those fields to take X dollars off, some kind of a plan to make it more affordable, or as affordable as it has been anyway, for these kids to play ball. They don't just pay registration, like I said before. They've got to buy cleats, socks, pants, a mitt, a helmet. Most kids are getting bats now, so plus all the other stuff. And then there's, the typical stuff that parents spend extra money going here, taking them there. And so it's pretty expensive to play sports. I'm not necessarily asking for a decision tonight, but if there could be some discussion on this.
Yeah, well, there was going to be some discussion earlier, and I was going to actually kick it over to Councilor President Morton and kind of have him give us a census on the Parks Commission, how it went with them showing up.
Right now, or on the agenda? For deliberation.
Well, kind of now. We're just kind of, we jumped into it. It's not on actually our agenda. It was on earlier, our work session, and we kicked it up to this meeting.
Yeah, so what you're reflecting on is exactly what the Parks Commission heard. And there was certainly appreciation and a lot of thank yous for what you've done and what you are doing. The issue is that if the city takes this on, and we ask our parks supervisor and our property people to do what you're doing, the question is, can they do it to those standards? And I think Thad was here, and he said it would take a lot of his time. It would take as much as you've documented here for the city to do that. So that was a discussion, and then there was a breakdown, and this is one of the studies that we have to do is, okay, do we do a lease? And I think one of the things that worked against you is what you leased the fields for in the past, and it was $1. And so there's a monetary amount there that the parks is expecting, but with that $1, we bought 165 hours right here, what we're seeing. So, it makes sense to some people, and then other people are thinking, okay, is this equitable across the board? And so that was the discussion. The Parks Commission weighed in with thinking that if you do permits, and I believe the proposal was four time slots a day, or was it 3?
It was 3 time slots a day.
3. And if you do permits at that time, that it can be considered, and in my mind, if we go that direction with the recommendation of staff and the recommendation of the Parks Commission, that hopefully we can negotiate on the amount of time that you put in and the permits as they come up. So I like what the staff has done in terms of going with permits rather than a total blanket lease for the fields. I support that. I've got to support the staff, and I've got to support the commission in that sense. But I think that there's some rigidity to just saying, okay, we're going to do that and have it go that way. And we've got to find some way to encourage your involvement and utilize some monetary kinds of concessions as well. So that's my take, and it was a good discussion. Your platform is well thought out and well presented, and my personal opinion is that there can be some negotiation and room for some leeway here.
Jeff, reason is that it's a public park now, where it used to be Boise's Park, so that's kind of the difference.
Correct, I understand that.
What I'm getting at is, how many other teams have expressed interest in using those fields?
To my knowledge, if you're talking just softball, there's only one other team in town that's not part of our league, in St. Helens, and they typically go and reserve Campbell Park, one of the fields, for whenever. And quite honestly, if I know the lease isn't an option, but if we had a lease, they could go down there and use it just the same as anybody else. We have, like I said, have never kicked anybody off the field. We've had teams go down there before. There used to be a couple other teams in town that were not part of our league. They were tournament only, and they would go down there and practice. And they don't carry rakes in their car. They don't fix the fields, and so they tear them up and they leave them. But we don't ever say, hey, get off the field. That's not what we're about. They have kids too. they're part, they're going into our school program, high school program as well.
Right.
That's not what we're about. So, like I said, if we can come up with some kind of I know if the city had to hire somebody to make the fields look like this, it cost a lot more money than what our fees are total. And so we're just trying to find a way, because you'll still have time slots available. But the problem is we use Boise from March through October because we start practicing in March and we're going into fall ball. So we've got teams practicing out there now. In fact, I was out there last night cutting grass and filling squirrel holes so a team could practice out there without worrying about breaking their ankle and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not necessarily looking for that particular answer tonight. And I think if you guys have some time to discuss, what is it worth? Is it worth not paying for Boise, but still using the time slot situation and continuing to pay, for Campbell the way that we always have? I think, that would make our league happy because.
And I think our basic question is how do we encourage volunteerism and throughout our parks and throughout our programs and with youth? How do we do that, and how do we come out in terms of fairness with monetary issues that we face? And our parks, it's just hurting. I mean, really, really, really hurting. And I appreciate what you do for that. So that's the question. How do we weigh and measure that? And is it through the permit process? And I think it can work if it is through the permit process. I think it could work better even than the lease. I think as things develop, as issues develop between who's doing what and whatever, it seems to me that there's a lot of flexibility there. With a blanket lease, the flexibility lies with you saying, okay, kids, you can come in and do this. And I think that responsibility is lying with the city now. By having the city say, okay, we can do this, we can do that. But we've got to make certain that it's equitable and fair for everyone. And we've trusted you in the past, and now things have changed. The city owns that property, and Boise doesn't. And so that's kind of the issue. And we have a recreation program that is stepping forward in terms of somewhat managing those kinds of things as well. So,
one other quick thing that I would recommend is, because there is, the obvious discussion that, other groups may say, well, you're waiving their fee, why not waive ours? And that's why I think it's important to set a number of hours minimum. Say, look, you got to put in this number. And you know what? If you put in 165 and a half hours, I guarantee you we're going to blow way over that. And that's a lot of hours. And so if you make it enough to say, look, if this group wants to, this other group, if they want to really dive in and help the city out with maintenance and taking care of things that, then city employees don't have to. And it's not just the hours, it's the fuel, it's our tractor, it's the maintenance, it's everything goes into that. And I'm not saying make it impossible for other groups, but make them earn it, because I feel we are. And so,
I think that's a good point, and it helps us with accountability as well.
What I know is we, even with summer help, probably costs us $20 an hour, maybe. Everything, insurance, coverage, stuff like that. Just guessing.
Well, it's probably more than that.
$20 an hour. So at 165 hours, equals $3,300. And their gas, their equipment.
I think there's some middle ground of some, collaboration.
Yes.
And I think that's what you're asking here, is to find the collaboration piece.
Right.
We're really all on the community team. It's not us and them. We're all here for the community.
Correct.
One of the things that is kind of fogging the area is Boise was a private company, and it did community service by giving or allowing these ball fields to be built and have you maintain it. Now the city takes over and it's going to be a business. You've got to pay just like everybody else. So the philosophy tastes bad. This city definitely needs to build community. So the more people we could encourage to help take care of things, other groups taking care of other fields or other things, really should be encouraged. Now, if you want to put a monetary value of $30, $70, 18 cents per hour, whatever, but the minute we say, okay, they got the permit, we don't care that you work with it, it gives the city a bad taste. And I think we've got to look at the social end of this as well as the financial end. Financially, you're doing more than we are, just because we don't have that many people. So I think we better look at the social part of it. The fact that it was a community field, even though it was given by a private company. Now, the fact the city's taking over it and we're not going to give to the community, we're going to rent to the community, that's a bad taste. I don't think we want to start that.
So on Matt Brown's behalf, I need to, because I look over administration, you need to understand this is more about the scheduling and getting to the online scheduling. So no matter what you do, whatever we decide here, you're still going to have to schedule those time slots like anybody else because he wants it automated. He wants to be able to keep track where you can go and click on a mouse and say, I wonder if we could play on that ball field. Well, let's just see. Well, girls softball's got it this time. Girls softball got it that time. Oh no, but it's open right this time. Let's set this date. That's what Matt wants, and that's what the community deserves.
Well, so then when you walk up there, you know the field is open for you.
Absolutely, and that's no different than we have field schedulers in our league who coaches call and say, hey, is this field open because I don't see anything on our game schedule? And so, yeah, I understand that totally, getting a schedule that everybody can see what's going
And
on.
another thing, like for organizations like yourself, we can get a contact number. Matt can get a contact number, and it says, okay, girls softball, I'll see if they're really going to use it. Contact is Jeff Kroll, and here's his number right here. Hey, Jeff, are you really going to use that? Do you have your tournament or whatever planned for, or we have a tournament planned for Saturday. We need an overflow field. Can you sacrifice a field? Whatever it may be, it opens up.
It's about being consistent, whether it's softball or whether it's soccer.
Right.
It's about being consistent so you have the same rules for everybody.
Correct.
I just wanted to put that out there because I know Matt gets a bad rap sometimes, and he's really doing the city a lot of good.
It's just about being fair.
Yep.
Is this something that you guys have talked about, the rec program possibly managing at some point in time?
It was actually brought up. The girls softball is not wanting to go that route, but yes, that was brought
Well,
up.
let me point out what was proposed was taking care of our registration, our team building, putting the teams together, and our field scheduling. And so what was told to me was that if the city took care of that, we wouldn't have to pay anything for fields. They'd just schedule the time, we go use them. Unfortunately, Andrea is she came on as our registration manager, new registration manager this year, and still doesn't have a clue how to do everything to do that. It still takes Mindy, our prior. Our registration we're not cookie cutter. We're not even like Little League.
Full-time job.
It is because it's not just registering with our league to play. There's a whole back end side of that we have to go in and navigate through USA. We're governed by the U.S. Olympic Committee and USA Softball, and we have to go through their site and then register the girls to play with them too, so they have insurance and that they are registered players. And we have several teams that do play tournaments now, so you can't just put Kimmy here and Susie there and Betty there. So we have coach requests now. And so parents can say, well, I want this, or my kid wants to play for this coach again, played for him before, or whatever. So we keep our teams together. That has also allowed us to keep our coaches in the league. Before, We used to have to get on the phone, and I've been coaching for 13 years in this league. I've been president for 6. I was vice president before that. We had to literally take a roster of a team that was put together and start calling parents, hey, do you want to coach? Do you want to coach? Who wants to coach? We need a coach. And we finally, like I said, it's not just my team that's doing good. We have several other teams that are doing good. I know her daughter, who's back here today, is going to be a second-year 8U, and that team is going to be something special to watch. They have some very, very talented girls on that team at that age, and they're going to come up through, and people are going to say, wow, that's a really good team right there. And, that's important to have in this community. Bring some notoriety back here. So,
hey, listen, Jeff, you've given us enough information to go on. We're going to talk about the fee scheduling as a whole later, but I appreciate you giving us a great presentation, and all your efforts are, I've seen you out there mowing myself.
Well, I want to thank you guys for your time, too, and consideration.
Yep.
And did you have anything else to add? All righty, thank you.
Okay, yep. Okay, other visitor comments? No? Hi. Okay, now we're going to deliberate the street vacation 15-foot of Umatilla Row abutting Lot 3, Block 102, St. Helens Subdivision. The address is 504 South 13th, Callister. So, who would like to start? A recap? We just went through this.
I'd like to start with a motion.
Okay.
Get this out of the way.
All right.
I move we approve the vacation with staff recommendations.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to approve with staff's recommendation. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Wow.
Okay, ordinance final reading. Ordinance number 3244. An ordinance adopting the housing needs analysis.
Jenny, is that all they need? Is that it? Or they no signature, no nothing else?
So it'll be a first reading next
Okay,
meeting.
just
Yeah.
making sure we've done all the steps.
Yeah. Okay, ordinance final reading. Ordinance number 3244. An ordinance adopting the housing needs analysis as an addendum to the City of St. Helens Comprehensive Plan and aiding Chapter 19.26.
Move we adopt ordinance number 3244.
Second?
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve ordinance 3244. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, resolution 1861, a resolution determining that a nuisance exists upon the property located at 406 South 12th Street within the City of St. Helens and directing that notice to abate the nuisance be posted on said premises.
Move we adopt resolution 1861.
Second?
Okay,
Can I have a question? Can anyone shed light on this situation?
I can. This is a home that we got a complaint on, and they have had the problem for over 6 months. And Miramar's been going over there and checking, and she tries to get a hold of the owner, and they're not answering or anything. So we've made several attempts, staff has made several attempts to try to get them to clean it up, and they haven't. So that's why we're at the place we're at now.
Okay.
Where we need to declare it a nuisance and then start the process for abatement.
is it the landscape or is it adjunct?
I
or-
don't have you seen it?
I didn't look at it, no.
It's quite extensively full of rubbish.
Uh-huh. It's the same house I'm thinking of. It'd be like a double lot, but maybe it's not that one.
It's like a lot of blackberries.
Yeah, and it's very
And
overgrown
a lot of
with
garbage.
blackberries.
That is the one I'm thinking of.
But part of this is this right here that
Oh, wow, that's
is
hidden
causing
behind.
a huge
Rat.
stench.
Rat
This-
infestation.
and it's got rats, and then rats are going into the neighbor's property.
Yeah, actually, you'll get them swimming up from South 12th and coming up through all that the water, too. Yeah.
So
Thank you for showing us.
you're welcome.
Okay.
My only question is I don't know, this is off, but they have a neighbor that we've been dealing with for several years now.
Yeah, it's actually like a block and a half because they're on the uphill
Right,
side.
right.
Yeah. But it was, no, their place does not look like this, Keith.
No, not anymore.
Not
It's-
even-
it kind of started like this, but they have cleaned it up some, yeah.
But I don't think it was actual garbage. That's
No, it was
actual,
stacked stuff.
that's actual garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it was
That is
stacked.
no garbage service.
Yeah,
How do
This
we
is
go?
a safety issue with children
Definitely a health
and
issue.
unbelievable.
So on something like this, being that we're still discussing, how do we go about making them have to have garbage service? Because as soon as that gets cleaned up, it's going to start all over again.
city ordinance has to require garbage.
City ordinance.
I don't want to do that to everybody because some people that actually empty their cans every 2 weeks and take them to the dump. On repeat offenders, is it a resolution or an ordinance we need
So
to make up?
what, if we do this, so then what's the next step? I mean, are we cleaning up or
Yeah.
So the
giving
next-
them?
what this does is it allows us to send the letter to them to say you have 30 days to abate this. If they don't do it within 30 days, then our staff, or we would hire somebody to go and abate it for us.
Right.
Then the cost of that abatement we would file it as a lien against that property.
Which is Alonzo still, is that correct?
Mm,
It was Alonzo that we had
we don't have
contracted.
anybody specifically contracted with.
I'd be hard pressed to ask our public works people to go clean that
No, no,
up
no.
with
No.
it without. That's not an option.
We have used Alonzo. Bob used Alonzo. He came through and got that approved. That Alonzo is a city.
That contract's expired.
Okay. Yep.
Comfort has helped before,
Okay.
so,
All right.
and he's
But
contracted.
Is there anything in the process that after something is abated, because we've had other people that were
That's what
repeat
I'm-
offenders,
Mhm.
that our code enforcement person would go back 30 days, 60 days, just to make sure they stay on to just follow up, because this has obviously been brewing for a while.
There's a difference.
That's what the ordinance should. That's how the ordinance should read. Is that a probationary period for a year to be checked occasionally around a 30 or 60-day
Because somebody
period.
might be able to get it under control if it didn't sit there.
There's a difference between scrap and clutter stuff versus.
Yes.
That's hazardous waste.
that-
You
yeah,
need
that-
you
that's
need a
household garbage.
hazmat too.
That's household garbage right there.
You need a hazmat team in there.
Okay, I think we've had plenty of discussion on this, and a motion has been made and seconded to go ahead and put a post on said premises. So a motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 1861. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, resolution 1862, a resolution adopting a universal fee schedule and superseding resolution number 1858. And I do believe this is parks. Is that correct? Is that what this is? This is the parks one that we were talking about.
Move we approve resolution 1862 as read.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Discussion.
Yep.
Well, I think a lot of it pertinent information came forward today, and we understand the dilemma that if we do go this way, I feel that there's more flexibility in terms of
Case by case.
case by case, and how can we encourage volunteerism, and what can we do as we go forward. So hopefully we take a good look at it. Hopefully we work with it, and we find some resolution so that they're happy, that our finance director's happy, and our rec program's happy.
And
That
it's
if
fair.
we could, that's our job.
Yeah, let's keep it fair.
So on my end of the discussion, I would like to see that we actually direct Matt to work with the girls softball, knowing the hours they put in, to some extent flexible, and empower him that ability to do that. So we don't leave, knowing that we mean well, but we don't leave clear directive
Right.
on a lot of our meetings, is what I'm finding out from staff. That sometimes we don't give clear directive.
Yeah.
So we will try to be better about that as a council.
Yeah, give Matt the ability to work it out with Jeff. Matt was at the Parks Commission. He heard the Parks Commission
heard
weigh
it.
in.
Yep.
He knows the situation. and say that we want to work out some collaboration.
And I think it's more about the process he wants them to go through and identify their time slots and pick them.
Right.
Yes.
Super.
So,
Well, yeah, I don't think we should lease anything to, I mean,
Yep.
it's, you know, to one person or one entity, yeah.
Yep.
Needs to be fair to everybody.
John?
Oh, I was just going to put something out there as far as this notion of a field credit, or that you may want to have a cap on that, and then maybe it's 50% of the fee or something, so that they some kind of a policy in place that they can have an hour at a certain rate, and
Well, that could vary too, because these fields, obviously, Parks doesn't do anything to.
Yeah.
Where the other fields, Parks does certain things to.
Well,
so each field's kind of independent of what's going on.
Yeah, that's true.
But if we start giving discounts, though, for volunteerism, it will automatically pick up.
Yes.
Yeah.
but there's still a base managing the space
Yeah.
cost.
Right.
too.
Right.
Right, but the quality of the field at Campbell versus the field at McCormick versus the field at Boise are three different scenarios.
Yeah.
I don't play baseball, and I just watch baseball, and I can tell you those are three very different fields.
So
They're very different.
how can we proceed most effectively? Then can we give this to staff and look and see what, basically get a report back from staff, and then we can kind of talk about it when it comes forward to that?
Perfect.
And then at that time, I can report back to our Parks Commission and let them know what the issues are.
I was just gonna recommend that you and I could sit down and talk with Matt about it, and then we're, because we got the
Spirit.
overall council approval already to do it. So why don't you and I just do that? Okay. All right. Okay. So, but we're gonna go ahead and go through with this for the rest of the people for now. Resolution motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 1862. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Award bid contract. A, purchase of truck to Emirates Motors in the amount of $36,627 for Public Works.
Move we award bid contract to Emirates Motors in the amount stated.
Second and question.
Okay.
Could we tell us a little about where this truck is going to be utilized and where it's going?
It'll go out to Public Works to the field supervisor, and then the vehicle that the field supervisor is currently using will come to City Hall, and then one of the City Hall vehicles that's not functioning well will go out to surplus.
The red one.
Yeah.
The red one, and probably the white one too.
Can you let our viewing audience know what the field supervisor is all about, what that person does?
The field supervisor would be the person, he also administers a safety program, but would be the person that's out in the field on a daily basis, overseeing the crews and ensuring that they're doing the work that they've been assigned, reassigning where it's necessary when priorities change during the day. You have an issue that crops up that wasn't initially there, so reassigning people. Just overseeing our field crews in general.
Yep. And he also takes ambulance rides when he gets stung by bees.
Yes. Yes. He's very allergic to yellow jackets.
Thank you, Sue.
You talked
Of
about
course.
the surplus sale a while back.
Yes, that's something that I know that the mechanics would very much like to have. Yes.
So that could happen before the end of the year, or
It could potentially, yes.
okay. As we acquire more vehicles, then
Yes,
storage
there's-
becomes an issue.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, it's a minor issue.
So,
but
council.
definitely
Yeah.
is.
do you have any idea how many miles they put on that a year?
Off the top of my head, I don't. It's a medium amount. It's not an extravagant amount, but because it's just driving within town, we're not driving like truck driver or something where you're driving 800 miles a day.
What I was getting at was how many years do you think that
Oh.
pickup will be in service?
Oh my goodness. Probably 12 to 15 is generally the life of one of those vehicles.
I was just trying to compare it to us leasing a vehicle instead of buying it.
We've looked into that, and on this exact same vehicle, we got a lease price because we wanted to compare to see what it was. And knowing that we were going to keep this vehicle for probably a minimum of 12 years, the lease price, we would pay this full exact amount, in fact, just slightly over the $36,000 in 4 years' time, and then would continue having to pay a lease for additional years if we wanted to keep that vehicle, or else we would do the rollover but we would be ending up paying quite a bit more for this same vehicle.
That's why I was just getting it. I knew that was the case, but I just wanted to hear it and get a justification.
Yeah, we definitely looked at that because we wanted to make sure we were going the appropriate route with this, but we don't put as many miles on the vehicles as probably the police department or some of the other vehicles in town. And they're also
40 hours a week.
Yeah, they're used. They're not gentle with the trucks out there.
Yep.
So they get used.
They get worked.
But yeah, we definitely looked at that option.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to award bid contract to Emirates Motors in the amount of $36,627. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, approve and authorize for signature. A, agreement with Shannon Kimtech for Pro Tem Judicial Service, and B, contract payments.
Move we approve and authorize for signature A and B.
Second.
Question? I would suggest this is not as much this is a comment on Parks and Trails Commission minutes. That's
next.
Got it. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So, do you have any questions on the agreement with Kimtech Pro?
Yeah, who's Kimtech?
She is actually, what are you saying? Comedic?
Comedic.
Comedic. She's actually going to be our fill-in for our judge.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
If anybody has a conflict of interest with her, there's another judge they can see. Yep. Okay, so motion's been made and seconded to approve and authorize for signature 8A through B. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, consent agenda for acceptance. A, Parks and Trails Commission minutes dated July 8, 2019. B, Planning Commission minutes dated July 9, 2019. C, Library Board minutes dated July 8, 2019. Now, somebody wants to make a motion, then a second, Doug can.
Move we approve consent agenda for acceptance, items A through C.
Second.
No question.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 9A through C. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Consent agenda for approval. A governmental affairs and project specialist job description, and B, accounts payable bill list.
Move we approve consent agenda 10A and B.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda A and B. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, I think we all got letters from the shoestring players, and their justification, I thought we'd get a little bit more of a presentation, but we did ask for,
Detail.
detailed of what they were going to do. And I don't know, I just feel like they're a huge asset to our community. We're trying to put on a new production right down here in Old Town, lease building for $2,700. They gave us all the information that they have a little bit in their bank account, but they don't have a whole lot. I don't know. Did you receive a copy of that? You need a copy then. You all got it though, right?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
here in our stack.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
I took it home. It's in your mailbox right now.
Okay.
Yep. So, can we put that on for our next work session? And we just do a.
More in-depth conversation.
Yes.
Yep. So they did supply that information though, and I was very impressed with. It seems like they got some new life to when they got that building over here, and it just seems like they're heading in a good direction. So Do I have anything else to report? If I can think of something, I'll come back to it. So, let's go with Council President Morton.
Yeah, earlier I reported on Sand Island a bit, and I'd really like to ask the staff to find a date where our leasee can come in and do a annual or a 6-month report, whatever the council feels is appropriate. But it's getting to the end of camping season. I think it'd be appropriate for a report. And then I would like to see another report at the beginning of camping season so that we're well informed of what's going on with Sand Island and what improvements would be made, how things are working. That's it for me.
Okay. Councilor Topaz.
Nothing at this moment.
Okay. Councilor Carlson.
After earlier, I'm a little leery. He got shot down and still got bullet wounds.
Come on.
My overall arching feeling is just not about any one particular thing. It's about kind of a philosophy, and it goes back to what you're saying about giving staff direction, about whether it's banners on the highway, whether it's standards in our community, whether it's nuisance abatement, about caring about the look of our community and the charm of our community. And that's what the spirit of what I'm trying to get across is looking at places where we can clean stuff up and we can put our best foot forward so we can be proud, kind of here's our welcome mat and we're doing our best. And I think all the council is that way, but we have to have a conversation about what that means, whether it's park maintenance. And maybe I was thinking about, I didn't know enough about parks, don't know enough about baseball, but sometimes I think about, is there something we can do to our baseball fields that would make it less maintenance, that would make them not turn into swimming holes, that we could put that on the parks master plan and make those improvements so it wouldn't take so many hours and wouldn't be so hard to maintain. And just look at things and ways that we can look at that stuff. And just thinking about what he does, what cross country does, a regional thing. I think track does a regional thing. And then this band piece. When I've gone to those for my kids and I see kids from all over the Northwest there and their families, and they're going, this is a beautiful community. And I think that maybe there's a missed opportunity there in tourism marketing because those are potential visitors to our community. And I think that having our face out there and working with those, that's another opportunity. And that's why we put lights on baseball fields, is so they have regional tournaments and they invite people out here and then they eat dinner after they have their game. And I just think that it all goes to that hometown pride, Main Street pride, whatever you want to call it, of just putting our best foot forward. And that was what my point of my conversation earlier is, to have, whether it's a workshop retreat agenda item or whether it's, let's talk about, just be thinking about it, put it on the agenda way out when we have a not quite as tight of a calendar, and what things we could do to tighten stuff up and give the staff more direction about how we feel about those.
It's up to us to get down to specifics, and specifics exactly what the issues are, and ask the staff to respond. And I think since I have been on council, there's been a reluctance to do that, to really ask the staff. We talk about it, and do we turn to John and ask John to have a good look at this, or do we turn to Public Works or to our police chief or librarian and ask them to respond? I think we need to do more of that. We need to ask and direct a bit more, and we need, and in doing that, we need to go through our mayor.
Right. And the only other thing I have is I'm super excited tomorrow for my regular job to get to do adaptive water skiing.
Adaptive
water skiing. So you haven't lived until you've seen somebody get out of a wheelchair. And
oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Inner tube and all that kind of stuff. A company comes from Seaside and meets us in West Lynn, and we use the Willamette Park there in West Lynn because it's completely ADA there, and we're able to facilitate all that stuff. So
big smiles. Big smiles.
There is a guy in town who has a foil water ski, which means you sit on it. And it can be very choppy water, and this foil will raise up. Okay, and you've seen him?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
He would
Willamette
be-
River is very forgiving for this.
Yeah, well, he'd love to volunteer and work out with you.
It's just super fun. It's those kinds of things is why I do that job, is just
That's so nice.
being able to see joy on faces, and the band kids here tonight sticking up for what's important to them. You know, Coach Kroll coming out here, it's like the amount of hours that these coaches put in, and lots of coaches we never see here, the amount of hours that they put in to raise their own families, work a job, and then give all these hours for the kids. It's to be commended, for sure. And that's all I have.
Okay. So, a clear order would be to our sand dresser that we have would be to actually do our grass down here and the part of the Campbell Field Park and the McCormick Park where it actually resides could use a layer of sand because we spent a lot of money on that and I have not seen a lot of use out of it. So let's go ahead and use that. They do? But we know that gets very marshy for
mud pit down
it gets very marshy for the Christmas ships and you can't even get on it. So now's the time to maybe start thinking about that one down here soon. After 13 nights probably. Okay?
Harden it up.
Yes. Yep. Oh, Counselor Locke. I had to give clear directive because
No, that's fine.
we need to
The
do
only
that.
thing I agree with all this, more directive and everything, but also I'm asking staff, if you don't understand what we want, please ask us. If you don't understand directive and whatnot, so it goes both ways. Anyway, that's all I got.
Well, the other thing that was on the table was for John Walsh on the banners out there. Are we just taking them down? What do we want to do?
I think we should put new ones up. That's what I think we
I
should.
mean, we need to give him direction because he asked, and we need to
I thought you left it as
take the old ones down,
take the ones that are broken down.
and we'll decide.
Make a plan for new ones.
Okay.
Leave the hardware.
Have them leave the hardware up?
Leave the hardware. The
Leave the
hardware is
hardware
like
down.
a lot
Yes.
of money.
Yes,
And
that
a
was
lot
my
of
point
labor, and
today.
since the PUD said we can hang replacements,
Yes.
and that's what, because I was part of the project to put it up there, working out the details of putting hardware on the poles with the PUD was harder than you think.
Yeah.
Well-
Comcast was super, super friendly about doing the ones in town, but the PUD, their schedule pulled them away, and it was just really hard to get them up.
Who do we have on staff who could look at not duplicating the exact design, but updating the design and working through the design and giving us a report back on what the cost would be and when that can happen? Who do we have on staff to do that?
I think that was the piece that why the Arts Commission came up in the conversation.
So it would be the Arts Commission. They meet once a month, and it could be 6 months out or
They meet every other month now.
every other month. So it could
But,
be
I mean, they
quite a while
Well,
before
but I mean,
they
if you
come
look
up.
at it right now, we're pulling the broken banners. Christmas is going to go up.
Right.
So really, you have until spring, until you even. And
Do we
that's-
put
Christmas
Christmas?
doesn't do the banners though.
We don't do Christmas on those banners.
Yeah.
You're thinking
no,
of
but they take those banners down and they hang those lighted things where the banners were.
Oh,
not on
they
the
were-
highway.
I
Not
don't
on the
think
highway.
so.
In town, they do.
Really?
Yeah,
town they
but
do.
They use different poles though, I think. I think they use different poles.
It is different poles, and they have to use those same poles because of the electrical
Right.
outlets. Yeah.
But
Right.
I just thought if they
Oh,
take
that's
it down
right.
and it would be nice and clean
They gotta
because there'd
plug
be
'em in.
nothing out there. My thought is there's nothing out there. Then Christmas goes up wherever it is, does. Christmas comes down, and then whatever goes back up. It would be less times on the pole.
So, Mr. Topaz, how's this going to work with the Arts and Cultural Commission?
Well, right now, with the city's got the electronic prints for the present designs. At least we could get the cost of what it would be going back to the old thing. That gives us a cost. That doesn't give us the design.
Right, because the design that's up there now doesn't read well at 55 miles an hour.
No, and so that's the second part of it.
55 to
Yeah,
downtown
40,
anyway. I
Jenny.
want to know that.
I'm not going
And you're
55.
teaching Ben how to drive?
Just watch.
And you're teaching Ben how to
Brian,
drive.
Just watch.
I'm
sorry?
Have you been paying attention? She's going 55
You know,
Yeah.
down the highway out there.
But people
Well,
are
I only paid attention when she threw the beer can out the
Oh,
driver's
okay.
side.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm just kidding, Counselor.
So
just
we
kidding.
got two problems. One is the cost, which the city ought to be able to call the people up and say, this is what it costs.
Well, I mean, I can.
But now we got to get to the design.
when they
That's more
printed
for
it
the art
6 years ago,
department.
It was $5,000.
So
So
a quick fix, because if they take them down, it only takes like a minute to put
To
a
put
new one
something
up.
on, yeah, while they're there. You're right.
Why don't we just make some quick, we have a Halloween Town poster.
We have Halloween banners too. Yeah.
Oh, well, put them up.
Well, if you've got the banners, yeah, that takes care of the problem of the artwork.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure.
We're already
that
going all out
I'm
down
not so
here.
Sure we should assign the artwork to the Arts Council.
So-
I'm kind of leery on that.
Well,
one.
Mr. Topaz,
the project would be the art council would figure out a contest or something to
public.
have the public involved in the design.
Well, I mean, if we put them up, it should have to do with either event or something.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the, like, I want to be mayor. We have little kids who've got to be 32 to 17 or something. Otherwise, they're not qualified. There are obviously recommendations of what you've got to stay within, but make it a public. The judging would be by the arts, because theoretically we're art people.
So Mr. Topaz has that commission, and he oversees that commission. And so I think it's appropriate that you go with it. It's your deal.
My question is it art or advertisement?
It could be both.
I suppose.
Well, and we did talk about how that plays into the countywide tourism
Yep.
and branding and having
Yeah.
some cities do seasonal kinds of things with spring.
They're not
Spring,
permanent.
summer, fall. Some of them
They're
do
not permanent, so
take
it's
veterans, and they take the veteran images of the veterans and they hang them on the poles for the local people. And there's some really creative and
See-
technology is a wonderful thing.
So when I ask who on the staff could help with that the most and give good direction.
Well, first, okay, so there's about three parts. There's the basically the cost of it. We've got the guys with the lift machine to pull the banners down. That's getting old banners up, new banners down, or whatever. Then we've got to come up with the design, and now we want the philosophy. Do we want to change them fairly quickly?
Well, I have one school of thought, given it's not necessarily her core job duties, but we have somebody that's very passionate about branding and wayfinding that's been through that whole process and has written lots of successful grants. And that might be a good point person, not to make her in charge of it, but might be a good person to at least have an outline to start it up.
Know who that is?
You know who that is?
Yeah.
That's my thought process, because it's like, because she's on branding wayfinding, because she's been on the image stuff, she's been on all the waterfront connector plans. She has an idea of where we're going and could better formulate what criteria would go out for some kind of contact.
Right. So
My recommendation would be that you ask staff to come back with a program. So,
All right.
Okay.
Hey. Yeah. That's fine with me. You started it.
There you go. Are you done with your report? Is that all it is?
Yeah, you got anything else, Keith?
I've had enough.
Okay. Department reports, Chief Greenway.
Nothing additional, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Yep. Sue? Okay. Margaret?
Just real quickly, I wanted to say that I really appreciated the report from the Senior Center today. I got a call from Kathy asking me to come over during lunch one day last week and talk to everyone about what's going on at the library. And they were very gracious. I bought lunch. I had not had liver and onions in a very long time. And believe me, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but their cook is amazing, and it was very delicious. And I found out what her secret was. So it was a really nice experience to go there and visit with people. And then afterwards, Kathy gave me a tour of the facility. I'd never seen the whole thing. And then I went back Saturday for the tea, and it really was quite an event. The place had music and great little British goodies and little tea sets for sale, and she was right. There were all ages there. Our table was waited on by a little boy who probably was all of 6 years old, all dressed up in a tie and a vest. So it was a really nice little event. So I look forward to great things from the Senior Center.
All right. Is that it? Okay, go Ducks. Kathy?
The only thing that I was going to remind everybody of is that we have our summer barbecue potluck coming up in September 15th.
September 15th.
The Saturday before League of Oregon Cities.
Sunday.
Sunday.
No, not it's 2 Sundays before.
2 Sundays before.
My bad. Hopefully
So
I signed up for the
I
right day.
want to hear from everybody if you're coming or not.
Yes.
I'm sure I will be there.
Okay.
It was a good time last year.
Is there a dessert contest or a potluck contest? Or is it just bring a side dish?
It's bring a side dish, salad, dessert, whatever.
No vegetable diorama?
No, we're not doing that.
Okay. Did you miss that?
Horseshoes.
Okay, and then you have a bunch of little gifts he gave away last year too, and no, wasn't the same one. Thought you did. I thought you had some.
No,
There
we
were
played
games a few years ago. that
Yeah.
we did
maybe
games
that's
for-
what
A few years ago, right.
Yeah.
Is that it, Kathy? Okay, John.
Okay, so 13 nights is winding down. There's two more Thursdays. It seems like it's been a real good season, and happy about that. That means only one thing is that Halloween is warming up and getting ready for all of that. And it each year it seems to more and more find its level. It's the hysteria, the hype is still strong. We're getting national attention. We're getting media inquiries, and there's a few little surprises that'll come out here in a little bit as far as attention, and it's all a really good thing. But I think it's more manageable, and it's a good thing. So one of the things I want to talk about, I talked about it just a little bit with a few counselors here, but is the League of Oregon Cities has an awards program. Nomination open right now. We're intending to submit the recreation program for an award for good governance or excellence in leadership. Mm-hmm. There's also a program for civic education award, and I know that a lot of the success with our If I Were Mayor program comes from a feedstock of a teacher at the high school, and that teacher is probably well deserved for that kind of an award. Just had that idea this afternoon.
Another nomination.
That idea this afternoon is due next Monday, so time's a little bit short, and I don't have the depth I would need assistance from some counselors or people in the community to help put an application together if you desire to do that. Keith Musin.
I was going to recommend Bill Amos.
Bill Amos would be another champion, yep. But
Either one are fine, but
yeah.
Bill's kind of more timely, though.
Sure. Okay.
We can get Keith next year.
Right. So and I can't guarantee that we're going to have it out the door by Monday, but we can make get a good college try. So. But as part of that application, I'd like to say that the council fully supports that nomination. So that's what I'm asking for right now.
Well, I think both are good candidates.
I think Bill is an excellent candidate.
Yeah, yeah.
But just the relation to the league and the mayor's teaching civics and the mayor's
him sending them here, yeah.
Their participation at our meetings is really valuable stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd be good attention for St. Helens too.
Mm-hmm. It's huge what Musin does, Keith. It's huge.
Oh yeah.
He sends his kids
It's
here,
required.
and it's our biggest attendance, other than some of our public forums or whatever that deal with issues. But it is, and when school's in session, man, this place fills up. I mean, and that's all because of him.
Do you have time to write it if you had help?
I would make the time, yeah.
I mean, because if we could get a couple of students to come in and help you. Sure. So they would be like, you have handful of graduates to
Say
come in
Doug-
and help you.
Doug's the most qualified to write that. If
Right,
you got
but
the
I mean-
time.
Yeah,
But I mean, student
What a help.
testimonies.
just a great author.
Just help anyway.
But I mean,
Exactly.
student testimonies and student testimonies would go a long ways.
That would be great to have quotes.
Student
Yeah, I
student
think that-
testimonies
Names,
is where it
names
should
and
be.
quotes. But you're talking 2 days, really, effectively, or
Well, I
part of
could
Monday. So.
I could definitely give some quotes.
I just thought-
on both those guys.
Yeah, I just thought if
exactly.
you had a team of young people, so where it's not old people nominating old people, but it's young people saying this person made a difference.
Okay. Yeah. So you do have the approval from us. Yeah. Any other things going on, John?
Amos has taught the whole town.
Yeah. Bill Amos has taught the whole town. All right. We're adjourned.
We didn't call for a comment at the peanut gallery.